Hello, everyone. Hello, and welcome to our webinar in collaboration with MaritimeMT and Bluewater. Today, we are discussing the topics for which we receive a lot of inquiry. STCW endorsements, global acceptance of certificates. We'll try to clear all the myths and misconceptions, and we will be answering some of the questions we've received before the webinar. We will try to cover as many as possible, but if we don't answer all of them, we will get back to you later. So before we start, a brief introduction. I'm Kim from the Professional Yachting Association, the PYA. We're a nonprofit organization that offers a comprehensive range of services to yacht crew, including informational certification and training like today, networking opportunities for all yacht crew, but we're also actively engaged with industry stakeholders, regulatory bodies, and training institutions to ensure continuous improvement of the industry practices and standards. Joining me today is a great panel of speakers. I will let each one introduce himself or herself. I'll start from the top left of my screen. John.
Hello, my name is John Wyborn. I'm the training director of Bluewater, and I'm involved in lots of other sort of yacht-related and training-related organisations. So I'm on the board of IARMI, the PYA, the Maritime Skills Alliance, and the Merchant Navy Training Board. So that's where I come from.
Thank you, John. Ellie.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Ellie. I am head of training for Bluewater Group. Bluewater in France and Spain. We are training and crew placement provider.
She's my boss.
Beppe.
Hi to all, my name is Beppe Galiamalia. I'm the Deputy Principal at MaritimeMT, which is a private school, as you all know, focusing in the maritime industry, yachting and the merchant navy as well. Mostly focusing preparation for yacht captains in the oral examinations and doing the 3000 OW.
Thank you very much. And Alan.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Alan. I'm the Sales and Marketing Manager at MaritimeMT. I also handle the inquiries related to the yacht courses held at our training center in Malta, and they also have an interest in education. I'm currently studying an MBA in educational leadership.
Thank you, Alan. So, as you can see, we will be covering the Maltese system and the MCA system. Please keep in mind that the information we will provide today could change. So it's always best to check either with us or the maritime administrations if everything we've told you today is still current. So let's start from the basics. What is a COC and how does one obtain one? Let's see, from a Maltese point of view.
So as a start, so we all agree that the STCW Convention sets the minimum standard of training, and it should be taken as it is, which is the minimum and the starting point. So whenever someone is starting a career in yachting, they usually start with the basic safety training, and they would be granted a COP for a certificate of proficiency. So certificates of proficiency are awarded as a specific training in a particular area. So let's say first aid, fire prevention and firefighting, advanced firefighting, medical care, medical first aid and medical care. So that kind of training is specific in a specific area. So it is awarded as a certificate of proficiency. Certificates of proficiency need to be renewed as well. So someone who's been working in the industry needs to revalidate, and refresh their certificates of proficiency by following a training program. The validation of the COPs, so a certificate of proficiency, is issued by a flag administration. Under the Maltese system, someone would come to MaritimeMT and do his basic safety training. Upon completion of the course and passing the assessment, he would be granted a certificate of attendance, of port attendance, which would still need to be validated and converted into a certificate of proficiency through Transport Malta's external system, which would be Seafarers Portal. They expire every 5 years, and they would sometimes the course would need to be updated according to any STCW updates to the convention. It is also very important that the seafarer keeps track and maintains record of his certificate. So in order to apply for the certificate of proficiency with Transport Malta, one would need to provide the first original certificate as well as the refresher training certificate.
Thank you, Alan.
Yeah.
So from an MCA perspective, are we talking about the same thing? Is the process similar or is it a bit different? And an example maybe of a certificate of competency, how would one apply for one? And then the various COPs.
Yeah, I think the key difference between a certificate of competency and a certificate of proficiency is if you get a certificate of competency, and I completely agree with Alan, by the way, the STCW, the Standards of Training and Certification for Watchkeepers International Convention, is a minimum standard. We should reflect on what that means. It means if you don't comply with STCW, you're dangerous. A lot of people think of STCW as some sort of gold standard, and gold it is not. It is a minimum standard. So we always have to remember that. So all countries work to this minimum standard, but there are differences between countries. For example, the UK MCA, when they issue a certificate of competency, which could be as officer of the watch or chief mate or as master or as engineer officer of the watch, second engineer or chief engineer, those are the principal ones. There are others. That means you're an officer in sort of inverted commas. You have statutory authority as an officer. A certificate of proficiency is usually shorter, usually also under an STCW standard, but a certificate of proficiency can be either given to an officer or what we call a rating. We don't in yachting we don't really use the word rating, but it means you're on board as part of the crew, but you're not an officer under those terms. So the certificates of proficiency are usually shorter courses. An example of one would be, for example, the proficiency, the PSC and RB proficiency in safety boats and rescue boats. Sorry, yes, that's an example of a proficiency. The UK also have a thing called an efficient deckhand, an EDH. Now that is a certificate of proficiency, but it's not an STCW one. It's actually one that only applies to the UK. The law applying to this was actually created in 1946, I think, and all crew.
It applies in Malta too. It applies in Malta too.
Do you have one in Malta as well? Do you?
We have inherited from our colonial past.
Brilliant! Yeah.
So it's exactly the same.
I don't know about you guys, but the feedback we get from the EDH is excellent, and everyone says that actually it should be done just after your basic training, because you should do that before you actually start pulling on ropes and working on deck. Now,
yes,
I'm going to challenge this next week when we go to the IAMI conference, because actually under the MCA system you have to do 6 months sea service. And what else do you need, Ellie? Is it a yacht rating or something?
You need either a yacht rating, a navigational yacht rating certificate, or a yacht master's,
which is ridiculous. So I'm going to challenge that. So I don't know if I'll get anywhere, but I think all crew should do this before they actually start working on deck. So that's a good example of a certificate of proficiency.
And I think it should be both specific as well when we're coming to the yachting industry as well. Yacht specific, because we've inherited this from the colonial past, which was based for the old system of AB1, efficient deckhand, and so on. So I think we should boost it up for new technologies, new equipment is being used, and so on, and examined properly. We have still again inherited the oral examinations where the efficient deckhand, we sit in front of an examiner where we are drilled about various use and safety things.
Yes. I mean, it is very much a safety course, isn't it? It's which is why a lot of people do it. It's a requirement. The MCA require it also for unlimited tonnage cadets. They have to do the EDH, even though it sounds like a deckhand course. It is, but actually all officers, and I'm sure it's the same in Malta, all officers have to do it.
Same thing.
Yeah.
It's a requirement for the issuers of issuing the COCs.
Yeah. Another one
for yachting and merchant navy as well.
The proficiency in survival craft and rescue boats is normally a 5-day course, and I'm sure that's the case in Malta as well. It's basically how to launch the lifeboats. Now, I don't think this happens in Malta. I think it is only the UK MCA that do this, although I think the US Coast Guard might have something similar. But we have a PSC and RB restricted, which only takes 3 days and is not STCW. So we probably should think about this. This came in right at the beginning of the yacht training system, right back in the 1990s. And the thinking was, it's ridiculous making yacht crew pay to spend 5 days learning how to do something that they will in fact never do, because the vast majority of yachts do not carry lifeboats. And the other thing you
Again, it's
learn,
how your COC is issued and
Yeah.
the requirements for your COC and the interpretation of this STCW by the administration. So that's why they put everything in the
Yeah.
same note.
yeah.
And I clearly understand that.
A lot of crew do go to, for example, if you go to Warsash, or I think UKSA is the only school in the UK that offers the 3-day course. If you go to Warsash, you do the 5-day course, just like if you go to Malta. And the feedback I get is from yacht crew that go to Warsash to do the 5-day course, that they might be there with Merchant Navy ratings, and they're learning how to drive a little rubber duck around in the Solent. And of course, yacht crew do this for their living, and they think it's hilarious, because of course this is for your average yacht crew. This is, I mean, honestly, it's in my personal opinion, a waste of time to make yacht crew do that. So we try to tailor the 3-day course to actually the business of higher level survival on a yacht. Now, but the thing to be careful of is if you have a certificate that is outside yachting. So if you're going to go and work on a workboat or a tug, or if you're going to go and work on unlimited tonnage vessels or yachts that have lifeboats, then you
Yes.
do need the 5-day course. So, but the
Like the
vast
Maltese one,
yeah,
the
or
36 persons
exactly.
on board.
Yeah. So
In fact, we regularly see a limitation on the COC as well. So sometimes a COC is issued with a limitation that cannot be used on yachts which are not equipped with a lifeboat or with a rescue.
yes. I mean, I think they're in single figures, but yes, exactly right. Yes.
Sorry, if I can just say, just with layman's words, and correct me if I'm wrong, if we just wanted a simple explanation of a COC and a COP, a COC is actually issued by the corresponding government, and it's a ranking certificate, if we can call it somehow. It's giving you a rank and a limitation. A certificate of proficiency just demonstrates that you're proficient in a certain task, and that is issued by a training provider. So that is the main difference. One is issued by the government, one is issued by the training provider, one actually
in the
gives you a
UK.
ranking.
In the UK,
In the UK,
UK.
it's
in the
issued
UK,
by
because
yeah.
we issue the certificate as a card, as it is
Malta, both are
yeah.
issued by the administration.
by the administration.
So there's two difference again between two
Exactly.
administrations.
Yeah.
Again,
Yeah.
we go into the typical question, and I remember typically when I was on board as a captain and I asked, my administration said, do I need to take a card for all these COPs? I got the answer is, you're the captain, you should know. But I've had post-state controls and they even don't know. So what I do, I pay for each and every one of them to have them. Yet again, they will tell you if you're on a Maltese vessel, in order for you to have been issued with the COC, you needed the COPs. So there's that argument over there. Different administrations, different port states, different interpretations.
The yacht course, the short 3-day yacht course, used to be called Advanced Sea Survival, and one of the reasons they changed the name to PSC and RB Restricted was because port state controllers didn't understand what Advanced Sea Survival was. So by calling it PSC and RB Restricted, it made it it ticked the box.
Sounded familiar.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah.
Sounded familiar. I mean, we're going to talk later on about these things, but it all falls down that in the STCW, there's no mention of anything specific to yachts, and this is where the confusion all starts.
Yeah, and there is talk of that changing one day. Yeah, so we shall see. Watch this space. Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. So a lot of interesting information about COCs and COPs, but let's move forward and let's talk about endorsements, which is another topic that brings a lot of questions with it. And in fact, what if I have an MCA certificate of competency and I want to work on a vessel that is not a UK vessel? What happens and what do I need to do if, for instance, I need to work on a Maltese vessel, or vice versa? I have a Maltese certificate of competency and I wish to work on a UK vessel. So let's start with an MCA certificate of competency, COC, and someone wanting to work on a foreign flag.
I think actually it's the other way around. I think the question is,
What is
how and what would the MCA accept for an FSC, or what would the Maltese administration, from what our beliefs are? Again, this has to be confirmed by flag state. But I mean, we can only say what we believe MCA would accept for an FSC, or the Maltese team can say what the Maltese.
I think this is addressed to the students, and since I am probably the one on the floor trying to explain this to captains going for the 3000s, which they can't grasp, and they allow their management companies to handle these things, we should start to understand what an endorsement is. So, okay, so the endorsements under the STCW refers to a process, okay, which is a certificate of competence, or as well a certificate of pursuit issued by a country's maritime administration, for example, the Maltese one, is officially recognized and validated by the maritime administration. Let's say it is UK by the MCA, okay, of another country. Okay, there's a process that is followed, okay, and basically this is where we get into the process of saying, this is a yacht, okay, what are we going to do? And this is when the questions start coming up. But if it was a normal STCW, okay, we're going to check if they're on the white list, if there are any white list, is a list issued by the IMO and so on, which says that this country is being audited and they're up to standards for the training, okay? And if there's any bilateral agreements between themselves, okay? It's an agreement between countries. We're going to discuss this later on, okay? So it's a very simple process, all right? I always tell the captain, I mean, just for to know, I've been in management as well, and I still do some management on the side. So I'm quite familiar with certain type of endorsement with different administrations. Okay, some are easygoing, some use a portal. Malta, for example, uses there is a merchant shipping notice. Okay, where you fill up a form, you send the money, or you have your representative, legal representative in Malta, and he does it for you. Okay, so it is issued by an application. Once that application is through, you usually are issued. The captain is issued, or the management company, with a letter of acknowledgement. I'm not mistaken. And that's when you can start operating on board, because this verification process, when they're going to check, is going to take sometimes up to 3 months. After there been instances where I finish a contract and I still haven't received this endorsement. Okay. Once this verification has processed, okay, they see that the COC is not fake. Some countries have their own. Ours, for example, the Maltese one's fantastic. You just barcode, you know the name and everything. Others, you can go onto a portal. For example, you type in the country. I remember using the Georgian administration one to check for Georgian crew members, and it shows it. Okay, so they make sure that everything is compliant and on the whitelist and so on. Then it is issued. It is issued until your COC is valid. There have been instances, for example, they'll tell you, listen, your COC, your endorsement is only valid according to the next certificate, which is going to expire. So you really, students, I mean, seafarers really need to check this, or else until your COC is expiring. Okay, now different administrations, some COCs expire with, for example, their refresher courses, others don't. It is one's responsibility. So there have been persons who have been caught out on this. All right. And then that's basically an endorsement. When you receive an endorsement, it is not, because this is where people mix up all the time, for all those people listening out there, it is not saying that you have a Maltese ticket. Okay, it is saying that we have endorsed it, we have verified it, it is not fake, it is good, we accept it, and as an officer on board our vessels. Now, while I was doing the research, and I might not be correct about it, there has been a directive within the European Union, again, of 2019, where we're trying to facilitate cross-border flow of workers all throughout. And I did not know this because I haven't worked with other, as you know, the European flags for yachting are mostly Maltese, and before the British left, it was the UK flag. All right. So apparently nowadays, I do not even need to ask for endorsement. It's something which I'm not very clear about. But again, I suggest to anyone to ask the administration or your management company about these requirements. But I was quite surprised as I'm researching about this EU Directive 2019, which I was not aware of. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's the key point there is to check with the flag state, the flag of the vessel that's flying on your that's that you're flying, because some countries, if you're on the white list, they'll accept you, but most flag states will not do that. Most flag states will want to carry out a mutual inspection, and they'll do a bilateral swap. So I know, for example, that the MCA came to Malta at the end of last year, I think, for the yacht certificates, and the same would have happened the other way. So that's that's important. So it's something that could catch you out. If you must have an endorsement if your certificate was issued by somebody else, by another country other than the your flag, the country of the flag you're flying. It could catch you out in a.
It's statutory by that flag to have this endorsement.
Yeah.
Yes. Another point that I would like to highlight over here is that GMDSS is a COC and not a COP.
Yes.
Because many people have this misconception that GMDSS is a COP, and for example, we have these cases where Malta and South Africa do not have a bilateral agreement to recognize each other's certificates. So someone with a GMDSS from South Africa, that GMDSS COC is not recognized by the Maltese authority. So over there, they would need to get a COC which is recognized by the Maltese flag state.
I've had a similar experience back when I was a chief officer, and it was in the Merchant Navy, and I was going to join a Singaporean flag vessel. And funny enough, they accepted my COC, but did not accept my GOC. It all fell down to administrative stuff within the flag. There was no bilateral agreement, and it was easily cleared out when things are clear. When things are clear, when you're following STCW, and you don't have any strange interpretation of the STCW onto Article 9 or Chapter 7. Okay, for those who don't know, this is where yachting is played around with these article or chapters. All right, it's usually easygoing, especially when we're talking about GMDSS and COPs, where people follow at least the minimum IMO model course. Again, subject to the flag if they want you to do that. Okay.
I think it's important to reiterate what Beppe said before, that seafarers realize that an endorsement is not an actual new COC by the flag state that issues it. An endorsement is just accepting your current certificate at its face value, whatever limitations and restrictions it has, but it's not a new certificate issued by the flag states that is endorsing it. It's just an endorsement. Having said that, the MCA does accept foreign COCs for entry levels to continue the career path in the yacht certification, but they will never give you an equivalent certificate to what you're trying to endorse. You can either climb up the career path or they'll accept what you have. But as you said before, they have to be clear. It is not a new flag state COC. It's just them accepting the one that you hold.
So we've started touching upon a few other things like cross-administration recognition. We talked about some COPs being recognized or not, COCs being recognized or not. Somebody mentioned the white list as well. So let's put things in order. Let's start with COCs and the white list. What is the white list?
It's a list issued by the IMO saying that you conform to the requirements of STCW. The problem with the white list is that most countries are on it. So the fact that you're on the white list doesn't mean that Malta or the MCA necessarily will recognize you. There has to be this bilateral, for most countries, for most serious maritime flags, there has to be this bilateral check, precisely because really and truly the whitelist is no guarantee of a standard, to be honest.
Exactly.
So what I'm understanding is that there are some COCs issued by certain flag states that are better or easily recognized by other flag administrations rather than others.
Can I talk about the Belgians now? I'm going to get myself into trouble, but
we'll have
Belgium.
I'll back you up on that, John, if need be, because I'm the person on the ground trying to catch up with being left behind with this.
You'll be many of the people watching will be aware that the Belgians, they're a serious maritime flag with a very serious tradition of maritime training. They're a proper flag authority. However, I believe not issued by the flag, but issued by a different ministry. There is a Master 500, which some of the people watching might have, where you, with a yacht master, go and with a limited number of days training, from a week to 2 weeks, you get a Master 500 tons with a yacht restriction. Now, this is not recognised by the Maritime and Coast Guard Agency or by any of the Red Ensign, so it's not recognised by the Cayman Islands or any of the Red Ensign flags, and the UK don't have to recognise it, of course, because the UK are not in Europe. Now, there's a problem which our colleagues in Malta have, which is what you were alluding to earlier, which is this the EU directive. The EU have taken competency of the compliance with STCW, which means that
there's still Article 9, but there's still Article 9.
That's the point. It's issued under a thing called Article 9. This gets a bit technical, but Article 9 is the code in STCW which allows the Maltese and the British to create a yacht-specific certificate of competency. That's the bit that allows it. And there
even
is
Chapter 7 for the part for in our case, Chapter 7 alternative parts of getting your tickets, because that needs to be mentioned as well.
Yeah. So the British actually stopped recognizing the Belgian Master 500 before Brexit, I believe. I'm right in saying, because when did Brexit become effective? It didn't actually happen until about 2020, did it? I can't remember now. Yeah. But I'm pretty sure that the actual derecognition took place before Brexit, because
it was prior to Brexit.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. Yeah, so I think there is. I mean, it's a problem, and I'm sure our colleagues in Malta will agree with it. This is a problem, and to be forced to accept a certificate like this and then allow them to continue training, well, I'm sure you don't do that, but you might have to accept them on board a Maltese flag vessel as master. And I think that is wrong. I know there's people out there who've got this are not going to like that, but I do think it is wrong, and it would be nice if we could do something about it. But it is a problem. Those guys are having problem revalidating anyway, because the Belgians won't accept any of the British courses because of Brexit. So the revalidation process is proving quite difficult for people who've got that. Yeah, it's not good.
John, I'm just going to face this elephant in the room, because at the end of the day, it falls to this. There are a lot of cowboys out there. When a student comes to me and he tells me, how am I going to get this ticket? How am I going to climb up the ladders very fast? I start off by explaining to them that, like you all said, it is the STCW is the minimum standard of training and certification. Imagine I had to go on a plane and the pilot goes, "Don't worry, guys, we're all in safe hands. I've had the minimum training over here." So let's start off with that. So if you come to me and you tell me, "Oh, I got the Belgian ticket in 2 weeks," then I've already made an opinion about you as a seafarer, as a master, that you're compromising the safety of your vessel. And I remind to all those captains out there, okay, that you are navigating vessels worth millions, and above that, you've got lives in your hands. Okay. Now, I've had students who didn't realize that they could have opted not to do it because they had the Belgian one, and they ended up doing the 3000 with us. Okay, and because it was a gray area, and they come up to me, I feel much more confident in taking command. Why? Because the knowledge is there. So let's not fall it out. Let's not bring it down to how am I going to climb up the ranks. Let's not fall it out because I've got a lot of experience. I've been doing the same thing all the time. But we know as a fact that accidents are happening and continuing to happen. When I have students coming into my class, okay, and I start grilling them down because I do oral preparations, I see the level which is out there. Okay, when you can't even tell me the rule of the road, you can't tell me what the numbers are, we've got a serious problem over here. So we need to address this. And it starts off from us as well. We're trying to completely eliminate this type of mentality from our students. And people are catching up on this. Why? Because now I've had captains who've gone through our system and they call me up and they say, hey, have you got a good kid who's been through the same system? Okay. Imagine a management. Now, these captains will eventually end up in management. These captains will definitely start going, okay, what ticket has he got? Where has he started from? Okay. So we need to look at this. Apart, it might be legal. We might find loopholes. We might place snake and ladders. Okay. And we're just talking about the Belgian ticking, let alone when I start mentioning other flags such as Honduras and so on, or Cook Islands where we cook things. And
yeah.
Okay, so it falls in the individual's responsibility. Okay. The Belgian one might be cost effective, time effective. You avoid your oral examinations. Okay. And you're up and away. Okay. It might have served you to work on a private vessel because private vessels are another game.
Yes, because private yachts don't sink in my experience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this is what we need to address. So
I actually you're absolutely spot on, Beppe, and to be fair to the people that have taken it, I do realize that actually a lot of people that got this Belgian Mickey Mouse, did I say that out loud? This Belgian certificate actually got it while they were doing their Officer Watchmaster 3000, because that does take quite a while in the British and the Maltese system, and it allows them to get a job on a 200 or maybe a 250-ton vessel while they're doing that. So I understand why they're doing it, and a lot of people did it as a stopgap to go through, but not everyone. Some people are using it as I've done it now, I'm here, and that is a mistake.
And again, there was a lack of awareness. Okay, there was a lack of awareness about these things, and now people are picking up. If you're lost and you don't know what to hang on to, you're gonna hang on to this system. The MCA one's got its own difficulties, and to do it, as you know, John, I'm sure you're struggling when it comes to these module things. Ours has its own things because it's condensed and everything. It's what you choose. The Belgian one seems to be the easy way out, unfortunately.
Thank you both. And now we've talked about COCs specifically and how they are more or less recognized by other authorities. What about the, let's say, like the basic STCW training or the advanced STCW training and its renewals? Because we get a lot of questions from people saying, I've done my basic training in South Africa. For instance, is it recognized? Can I use it to apply for an MCA or a Maltese COC? Or some STCW basic training certificates, like the South African ones, have expiry dates, which others may not have. So let's try and clarify a bit for people who are a bit confused about how and what they can use or renew.
So when it comes to certificates of proficiency, Transport Malta would accept the certificate if the training has been done in a whitelist country, in one of the countries on the whitelist. Then there are, so that applies for basic safety training, PSCRB, advanced firefighting, medical care, and medical first aid. Under the Maltese system, only the first 3 expire every 5 years. Medical first aid and medical care do not expire. However, you might be asked by the yacht management, or especially in the merchant navy, you might be asked by the ship company to renew your certificate. Then there is the case with ECDIS, radar, and leadership. Since for those certificates, the flag administrations these are specific courses, so the administrations do not issue a certificate of proficiency for those. Unfortunately, Transport Malta, since these are not issued by flag administration, they would not recognize an ECDIS certificate from a different flag. It's a little bit of we've tried to convince the MCA, Transport Malta, to accept a certificate from reputable flag administrations when it comes to specific training, but till now it is not accepted, and Transport Malta would expect that that training is done as part of the COC training course. So they expect that besides the academics of the academic part of the course, so when it comes to OW, this includes celestial navigation, bridge watchkeeping, and so on, they expect that ECDIS and radar operational and leadership and teamwork, which is helm operational under the MCA, are done as part of the OW program.
Exactly. This was caused by the amendments, basically, because I remember being issued my first OW Unlimited in the Merchant Navy, and then my chief mates, and then I realized, hey, there are new amendments, so they created a course so that we can put this amendment inside it. So it remained like this, like a certificate, but it's not a COP. It's part of the training which is evaluated in the COC. I've worked with Finnish captains where they're not issued any certificates. It's part of the COC. Okay, Maltese have this thing, the British have this thing as well. So I really don't. I mean, it needs to be discussed and then have to be evaluated, but it's something that falls between the administrations.
Sorry, just to make sure I've understood this, are you saying that the Maltese would not accept an MCA advanced firefighting?
No.
You're not saying that. Okay, good.
No.
Okay.
We're talking about ECDIS.
Yeah. Okay.
What you call helm and we call leadership.
I think it's the same.
Okay, that's interesting. Is it the
It's
same in reverse?
From the MCA side.
Yeah.
STCW safety training will be accepted from EU and IMO countries. At the basic level, all IMO countries. At the advanced level, safety, all EU countries. Now, the other certificates of proficiency, which are ECDIS and HELM, at the moment are not recognized between both flag administrations. There has been
call them certificate of proficiency, but
certificates. ECDIS and HELM.
It would be really good, wouldn't it, if especially the yacht administrations actually have mutual recognition of these courses, because it will make life easier for the seafarer. So perhaps we can both lobby for that.
The other question we get continuously is basic safety training certificates issued by other flag administrations. If they're valid, the MCA will accept them, or the MCA, for the MCA, the same as Malta from what I understand, only needs 2 of the basic safety modules to be refreshed, which is firefighting and sea survival. And at the advanced level, only advanced firefighting and medical care. Now, they will accept all flag state administrations. The question we have is, I did my basic safety STCW in South Africa, is the biggest example. In South Africa, up to now, I think they might have just changed it, but up to now, all their modules had expiry dates. So they come to us saying, do I have to do the full course again? Now, the MCA has said to us that towards the issue of a COC, to them, it doesn't matter. They only need to update firefighting and sea survival. The problem that they have is management companies, port state control, or other flag states might say, actually, your certificate is expired. But for the MCA and towards the issue of a COC, this is not a problem. You can just do the refresher. We do recommend, though, so you don't have problems from any other party, that you do the full STCW. But that's down to the individual. They don't have to do it with us. for them to have a valid basic safety and updated basic safety.
A lot of management companies don't like having basic training certificates with expiry dates that are, even if they're refreshed, that are out of date, because as you said, Ellie, it's the MCA are cool, but the port state controller might not be, and that's an operational problem rather than a flag problem.
Which there have been instances, and then when you have to go to the flag and we have to get a clarification, and it causes delays.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you, everyone. So I think we've covered all of the basic stuff, and there are a few questions that were left out from what we have received beforehand, and then we can move on to the questions that we've received live. So one of the questions was, what should I do if my COC is expiring soon, but I'm in the middle of a voyage? So I'm already on board a vessel and my COC is expiring.
Ellie, do you want to take that one? Or
I mean, I can say personally, why did you leave it that late?
I would say the same thing.
I'm sorry, there's no excuse. And if I
Yeah.
was the administration, I think that would be my answer, even for the administration. Why did you leave it that late?
The fact is that the MCA will be pragmatic, and they would give you an extension.
Yes.
But it's case by case, but they would give you probably an extension so that you can get in.
From a master's point of view, I would check if you're on the minimum safe manning, because I'm in trouble. If not, you're off. You're a supernumerary or guest.
Yeah.
Then secondly, we ask for a one-time exemption.
We get the same question just with basic safety training. My basic safety training is expired. Is that okay? I said, yeah, it's fine. But if you go to sea, you do not have a valid basic safety training certificate. That is, at the end of the day, it is what it is. And you have plenty of time to realize that it's up for renewal.
That's what we also advise to people who show up saying, oh, I need to revalidate my COC because it expires next week, and I'm leaving tomorrow. So
and I think Beppe can confirm this, but I think from a management point of view, the management company are the first ones that will send you a notification way in advance of when your COC.
It depends how complex your management system is, but there are management systems where I have all the lists in there and it sends me a reminder a pop. I've had simple, it falls on two persons, the management and the captain. He's responsible of maintaining the certification. It's just a normal Excel sheet, and you know when due, and there's the individual responsibility as well, you know. Okay. And I usually, I mean, if for example something's cropping up and I time contracts around to that time, just not to fall back or not have any issues. If it's not a minimum safe man, is not a person on the minimum safe manning certificate, that's another issue.
So another question related to a COC is, what happens if my COC is not recognized by the port state authority where my yacht is?
That can never happen, I think.
If it's
if your
recognized
COC
by
is
the
STCW, if you have an STCW COC, that's the key question, maybe.
Yeah,
yes.
The question needs to be specific.
Probably
if you have an endorsement,
RYA, COCs, and STCW full COCs, Master 200, for example, not all of them are STCW COCs.
Exactly.
No, so some countries will recognize an RYA yacht master on a British flagged yacht, and it's no problem. In fact, that's a lot of people don't have a problem with that. But the fact is, no country is obliged to recognize a Royal Yachting Association yacht master. So you could have a problem. Therefore, a lot of people, as well as getting their commercial endorsement on their yacht master, which makes them lawful within the red ensign countries and in red ensign waters, and in a lot of European countries, a lot of people choose to do the extra to get a Master 200 MCA, which just takes that problem away.
We don't have that equivalent at the moment. We're in the pipeline for it. We do have the 200, but it's not STCW. Yet again, if it's not an STCW, but I'm on a Maltese vessel and I go to Italy, statutory within my flag, it has been accepted. There shouldn't be any issues over there. I'll just give an example. If I'm working on a Cook Island vessel and I have a Honduras ticket and I've started working on it as a master and I got an endorsement and I go to the UK, there shouldn't be any issues over there.
I think that's the key question is what flag state is the COC and what flag state is the vessel?
Yes.
And do you have an endorsement? Yeah.
And that's the key. If you don't have an endorsement, that's another different matter.
Excellent. Thank you, everyone. So there are a few questions or comments from our audience. Kate Small wrote, there are some administrations which include basic and advanced STCW certificates within the certificate of competency. And I think this is something we touched upon earlier, such as Spain and Denmark. However, the holder should hold a separate certificate for the training carried out. So similar to Transport Malta, as far as I can.
Yeah, but Transport Malta and the MCA both require those courses as part of getting a COC, but they are certificated separately.
And when someone applies for a COC, it will be issued expiring on the first day of the expiry of the COP, of the first COP. So if your first COP to expire is PSCRB, in 6 months' time, your COC will be issued for only 6 months, for just 6 months, instead of the normal 5 years.
Yeah.
I think
So you
also
can
the
never-
question. Sorry.
So you can never have a valid COC with expired COPs.
I think also the question maybe refers to COP certificates issued by a training provider or issued by the administration.
Yeah.
Spain, like Malta, COP certificates are issued by the administration.
Yeah.
UK COPs are issued by the training provider. So I think that might be what the question is referring to, not COCs, but COP.
Yeah.
But
That's
that
actually
is how
a
it
real.
is.
We've had problems with seafarers in it's not been a problem in France, but in Spain we've had a problem with the Spanish administration recognizing UK certificates because they're issued by the school. So I do know that the MCA are looking at creating a central database so that the training providers will still print the certificate, but it will be via an MCA portal so that it's actually an MCA certificate that they get. So that's a plan. But it's not yet a reality. But that is an issue.
There are issues as well. I've heard of instances where Italy was not accepting CCW short courses or refreshers if they were not on an Italian flagged vessel issued by other administrations. They specifically requested them that they by their own service provider. I've experienced it once because there was a student who called me up. I said, I'm really not familiar with it, but I'm not sure if it's still recurring, this issue. Again,
From what I understand, it was the same in Spain, but there was an EU
yes, still,
fine, big
this,
fine, which they received, and they've had to change their policy now.
Well, one of the problems that we've had also with European flags, because the MCA and the Maltese are quite similar in many ways, because you can pick somebody up, you can ask a question, you can get an answer. But with a lot of the other EU flags, including France, Spain, and Italy, that it's very regional. So you might get one answer in Genoa and a completely different one in Naples. And this is a repeated problem. And I think all of the probably France less so, to be fair, but certainly with Spain and Italy,
not centralized. It's
this
through
is a
capital
problem.
areas. It's
Yeah.
not centralized through capital areas in Italy.
Yeah.
So another guest, Luca Trigiani, wrote, please mention and underline that Master 500 issued by Belgium is not Regulation 2/2.
It depends what year it's been issued there.
Actually, not anymore.
Not anymore.
Not anymore, because they were being issued under Regulation 7.1. However, lately, we've seen
caught
a
up.
surge, and so there was a change in policy where now, once they do some additional STCW ancillary courses, that certificate is now back to Regulation 2.2.
There you
I
go.
wish-
Chocolate factory quota.
I
Okay.
just wish they would stop it and make it go away, because it's not right. You know, they are a proper maritime flag. Their maritime training is absolutely EU standard. And
Good.
this Mickey Mouse. I'm going to get myself into trouble, but I'm sorry. It's wrong. It's not helping anyone.
We all agree on that. Tom Hicks wrote, we have to push for a concerted effort to clamp down on delivery of poor STCW training and to conform to the contracting government criteria like the UK MNTB of delivery. Any seafarers should not be offered full STCW after really completed the full STCW. They have the right for a refresher. This is a bit confusing. But yes, absolutely about the fact that the STCW courses are minimum training and it's not sufficient. That is certainly one thing. And of course, there is the matter of certain training providers not maybe delivering the training at the correct standard.
If I can answer some of that, I think you also have to use a bit of common sense. When you go and purchase something, you do a review, you make sure you don't get, I mean, if you get the cheap skirt or the expensive skirt or car or motorbike, it's the same with training. If you see an STCW safety course offered online for peanuts and just go online on Zoom and you'll be doing firefighting and sea survival and first aid and you believe that is a good course, not only might other administrations not accept it, it's what Beppe was saying before. It's in your own self-interest to receive the best training.
Yes,
So-
I agree with what Tom is saying, and I've got to be careful how I word this. But there is a well-known flag, not a European one, issuing basic training certificates in uninspected facilities to yacht crew, and it's a problem. Basically, there's a school in the UK that has MCA accreditation, and therefore they automatically get accreditation by this flag state, and then that school is printing certificates all over the place, not MCA ones, but ones that say STCW on. And that is, I mean, that's yes, I've got to be careful what I say because I will get sued, but that is a problem.
Again, the point is you need to check with your flag state if that certificate will be accepted.
Yeah, absolutely.
Flag states will also have a list of not accepted certificates. And if you think something already looks or sounds dodgy, check on it first.
I mean, I'm not sure if John worked in yachting, or probably you did, John. And I mean, I've worked a bit of yachting. It's also educating the owners as well. It's a quick fix sometimes. I mean, as we know, go up the ranks in the yachting industry, which is completely different from the yachting industry. And the chief, I don't like the captain, he's out. Chief officer needs to rush up. Let's create a quick fix. Okay. And it stems from up there. And then it's the management company to please the owner. And that's why these things happen, I think.
I wish we could educate owners, but unfortunately, only management companies and brokerage houses can do that. And yeah,
but again, it's crazy for if they can command when you haven't got the
absolutely
the people preparing for their examinations over here. What is our job on board as captain?
Yeah.
The first #1 job is managing owners' expectations. That's the #1 job, and if we understand that, you can get a direct the owner could get a direct understanding of how things should be run. So it starts. This is what we're trying to instill. Apart from the education, it's that professionalism at MaritimeMT, and probably also Bluewaters from the captains which I've met over there, and that have a respect for this rank, have a respect for yourself, you know, and be proud of what you do. If you have to say no, you have to say no.
Yes.
So we're running out of time, but let's answer at least another question. There's Mario Agnello. This touches upon something that we've mentioned earlier. He's asking if a Master 500 Maltese COC, when he does not specify if it is unlimited or yacht restricted, if it's recognized to work on a UK flag vessel up to 500 gross tons.
No.
With an endorsement.
Oh, he just wrote unlimited. So he has a Master 500 unlimited issued by Transport Malta, and he's asking if it would be recognized to work on a UK flagged vessel.
And he confirmed it's not an endorsement?
If he's got an endorsement, the answer is yes.
Yes.
No. If he has a Maltese endorsement, which he thinks he's going to go with it to Malta, because I've had instances where people come to with this idea. So the first question is check that certificate. Is it an endorsement or a COC?
Oh no, absolutely, yes.
Again, you
Yes.
can't get an
Yeah.
endorsement on an
We're going
endorsement.
back to basics. We're
Yeah.
going
Yeah,
back to basics.
Yeah.
But this is the level out there.
But
Yes.
Pepe, can I ask you, do you actually need, isn't there a bilateral agreement between the UK and Malta? Do you actually need an endorsement?
Yes. But
Yeah,
it's
you
been
still
there
need
for
one.
ages. It's been there for ages. It's been there for
Yeah,
But
ages.
you still need to get the actual endorsement.
Yes.
Yeah.
But there won't be a problem if they've had done the bilateral exchange.
But I've had Italian captains which got an endorsement, a Maltese endorsement, and they came to me and said, "Oh, it wasn't accepted by the MCA." I said, "Because it's not a COC, it is an endorsement. I have
Yes.
Malta has accepted it." So
Yes.
we really need to go back to basics. When I explain to these, I'm doing the teaching over here, so I know exactly how these captains are thinking. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
no.
So yes, so if it is a COC issued under the Transport Malta administration,
And if it's unlimited, even better.
yes, it is recognized by the UK Maritime Administration. If it's not, then it's another story. Okay, an anonymous attendee has underlined the fact that we've talked about the Honduras COC, that there is a black market of fake Honduras COCs issued in Thailand and Greece by training providers without any exams nor assessment, but just by paying fees. None of the Honduras COC holders have ever been in Honduras. None of them speak Spanish. None of them have ever set an exam.
That's got nothing to do with it because we provide training from Transport Malta and Greece and in Italy, and I guess no one knows Maltese over there, so that's got nothing to do with it.
I don't think anybody knows Maltese apart from the Maltese, actually.
There are a couple of Australians and Americans out there.
But it's funny how sometimes we get requests from these COC holders to apply for the Master 3000 Transport Malta course. Like, I have a Master 500 and I would like to join a Master 3000. And when we ask them to provide their COC, then they come up with a Honduras 500, Master 500.
Another thing which I'd like to mention, we may not have mentioned over here, we know of these dual private and commercial registrations. Beware out there. Just because you register, both have registrations, okay? You don't just pull out the certificate when you want, okay? So the ticket needs to be valid you need to be up to that standard, but then you go down to private. That's done for tax purposes when they want to use the owner's discretion to use the vessel without any commercial activity. Because I've had instances where students have asked me this, but I'm private when you want to.
Thank you, Beth. So I know it's 5, but just still one question that I would like to address, because it's about the Belgium 500. And basically this person is asking if his COC has already been endorsed by a flag state previously, and now it is expiring. Can they re-endorse the COC, or do they need to pursue a different certificate?
They won't be able to, the certificate will have no value to the red ensign. And as we were saying earlier, the Maltese are slightly tied because of EU rules. However, I think that's something we should all work towards addressing. Yeah, so
it's not. This is an authority administration issue as well. I mean, Malta, the different approach to things. We even accept yacht masters, which they're not even COCs.
Which you don't have to do. Absolutely, yeah.
But we do. But yet again, if you're operating in Maltese territorial waters, funny enough, we've got our own legislation. You can't do a commercial activity in Malta if you have this. So you will have to do another Maltese course, which are local water courses. It's funny because we have two Transport Malta divided to directorates, territorial waters, and merchant shipping for anything going outbound. So yeah, that's the thing.
All right, so it's 5:02. I want to thank everyone for participating in our webinar today, and I want to thank our speakers for providing such in-depth information. And I want to remind our guests that if they have more questions that they would like to ask, they can still reach out to us. This webinar has been recorded, so we will share it later on. And I hope to see you soon at our next webinar. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a good rest of the day.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Kim.
Keep away.
Okay,
Well done.
bye, John. Bye, Ellie. Bye.
Bye, guys.